Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from SwimCycleRunCoach. Well, like every triathlete, I have two bikes. One's a racing bike or a summer bike that I use in the summer, and the other one's a commuting or winter bike, and that commuting bike has mud guards and it's got a panniers on it and things like that, so I can take things around. And that's what I tend to use when I'm going to coaching if I'm cycling there. And the other day I thought, oh, I haven't done this for a long while, I'm going to cycle to coaching. And I got my bike out and flat tyre. So like all good triathletes, I swapped the front wheel from my good bike to the front wheel of my non-good bike, or my touring cum commuting bike. And I didn't actually replace the inner tube then. I didn't have a huge amount of time either. But what I thought was, everyone needs to know how to replace a tyre, and a lot of people don't. So I thought I'd show you how to do it now. A few things you need when you're going to replace a tyre. Tyre levers. There's different kinds of tyre levers. I've got metal ones here and plastic ones here, and the plastic ones are thick plastic ones, not the thin plastic ones you sometimes get in sets. You can see these Schwalbe ones are really sturdy. They're not going to fall apart and break when you try and do something with them. These I got new at the Blenheim Triathlon. I saw these, I thought they look nice, they look sturdy and really good, so I got them. Now on each of them, even the metal ones, there's a hook element that hooks into the spokes. Once you've got the tyre out, you hook them into the spokes. And that's what that's for, in case you wondered what that was for at all. The hook element on all of them, and again, it's on here. There, you can see that hook. You just hook that into the spoke once you get your first one in. Once you get your second one in, you shouldn't have to. Word of warning about the metal ones. The metal ones are great in getting off a tyre. They will get off a tyre really well. You'll lever that in, get it through, bang, you're on, and you'll get it off. But if you have to lever in your tyre again, if you use this to lever in, likely as not you're going to create another puncture with a pinch puncture, because these are really unforgiving. So yeah, excellent for taking a tyre off, but not so good for taking a tyre on. The plastic ones are slightly better. Alright, other things you're going to need when you replace an inner tube. Firstly, another inner tube or a repair kit. Now I'm not going to use a repair kit here because it will take too long. Some kind of cloth to wipe your hands on is useful if you can keep it in your back pocket or in your saddlebag, something like that. And a pump. Now here I've got a track pump. I would normally use that if I was at home, and I would if I was going to pump it up to maximum effort. But I've got this as well, which is both a pump, you can hear that pumping away, and it also is a CO2. If I open this CO2 valve, we'll get CO2 rushing in there. So it's for quick fills when you're out on the road, or if you're in a race, that's a perfect thing to get you going within 5 minutes. You've lost 5 minutes in a race. To some of us that doesn't matter, to some of us it does. Okay, so those are the extra things you'll need. The only thing I need to do now is take the tyre off and show you how to fix it. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is take off the valve cap and also a little nut that secures the valve cap in. There we go, that's all that is. We'll keep those to one side, and I'm going to use these that I've never used before. Okay, there's a lip that you want to get your tyre lever on. Get that on and just hook that in. So you can see how I've hooked that, and I've got a little bit of that out. Move along a little bit. Come on. There we go, got that out. Come on. That's how close you have to go to the next beaded section. Alright, you can see me just finding an edge and putting it in. Once you get a certain way round, and I would say that's probably there, you can take the first lever out, and you should be able to run the lever right round the edge, and you've effectively got the tyre lip down. Now you don't need the tyre completely off. What you've got to do now is take the inner tube out. So that we're going to do. Now it's important, if you can, to keep the inner tube the same way round as it is. Right? Because what I'm going to do now is undo the valve, pop it in the pump, and just pump up the tyre a little bit. That's not working. So, turn to the trusty track pump. Right, and the reason you do this is because you want to find out where your leak's coming from. Trying to listen. Now I've found it here. There's a leak there. Now why is that important? Well, if I take this off and we have our hole here, we'll know that if I put that by the hole, the entry for anything that went into the tyre must have happened there. Okay? Now in general, I would actually fix that immediately. But what we're looking for now is something that's gone into the tyre at about that position, and it looks like we have some kind of little holes coming through there. I can't see anything in the actual tyre itself. Okay. Good idea to keep any grit out of your tyre. Now I'm back to where I started. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's anything in the tyre that's left that's going to immediately give me another puncture. You notice my hands have got slightly dirty, so I'll just wipe those off. They're not going to be phenomenally wiped. Okay, so we want to take our new inner tube, take off the cap, and remember to take off the little nut that secures the valve. Open up the valve just a little bit, and we're going to put just a little bit of air into this tyre, or should I say in the tube. I'm going to take that out, and it's probably about right. Close the valve again. Now we're going to start putting the valve in exactly where it goes. And we're not yet going to put the little nut on. I'm going to feed it into the tyre all the way around. Now I'm going to start putting the tyre back on the rim. Notice I'm doing this with my fingers, and really, as much as possible, that's how you want to do it. You want to do it with your fingers, because if you do it with your fingers, you might have to push up the valve, because what you want to make sure is the bead is inside the rim and not outside the rim. See, I'm doing it just, see if I can do it facing you. There we go. Now that is a tyre replaced, but we want to make absolutely sure that the bead on the edge of the tyre is well within the rim. Otherwise, when we pump it up, we may get a little bulge out, and you'll instantly have another puncture. We now replace the valve. Okay, just give this a little pump. There we go. Okay, we're about to 100 pounds of pressure there. Let's just look around, make sure everything's okay about both sides of the tyre. And you'll note that the valve has been pushed further out. So do that up again. Make sure you've closed off the valve. Put your new cap on, and effectively you're ready to go. Okay, so there you have it, how to repair a puncture. Everyone should be able to do that, because if you can't do that, you're not necessarily getting home when you're 20 miles away. Alright, that's all for this week. Hopefully you've enjoyed that and that will be useful for you in the future. See you next week.